What's going on, everybody? We are reviewing Steve Ditko's The Creeper today. Now, DC put out a collection of this several years back, and it's out of print, kind of hard to find as a hardcover right now. The interior, of course, looks like this, with the giant creeper on it, under the dust jacket, and it's about 300 pages of creeper stories. It first appeared in the Showcase comics, and then from there it was given a 6-issue miniseries, which is probably the best of the book. I'll spoil that in advance. And then it goes into some shorts that were done in mostly World's Finest Comics after that, even though there were a couple other first issue special. And then got an issue in Canceled Comics Cavalcade that never got published. Now, The Creeper is about a guy, Jack Ryder, who finds this professor as he's hunting and investigating into the mob. And the professor's like, oh, I've got this technology they can't get. Let me insert this into your body. And he does. And then there's this activation thing that for some reason, this costume kind of got merged into that activation. As you can see, it's a really weird costume. And then he's got super strength and speed and things like that that make him a little bit more than human as he goes through here. Now, as Steve Ditko does a lot, he's a reporter pretty much who's working for this news company. And then he goes after mob targets or organized crime. And this is something that Steve Ditko does a lot in the future stuff. When he gets into this here. Now, the 6-issue miniseries that comes up after this is all about this character Proteus, who is basically the chameleon. If you want to, you could get a lot of Spider-Man vibes out of this. There's the corporation and the news, and they're all going after him and calling the Creeper a menace. Well, they don't call him a menace, but they call him a criminal, much like the Spider-Man stuff. And meanwhile, this Proteus guy is out there running mob tactics and all that, and he has to kind of uncover his identity. It even goes into an underwater thing where the Creeper's stuck underwater, much like the end of Steve Ditko's stuff that goes on through the Spider-Man narrative. So it really harkens back to that quite a bit. Now, there's a gal he's been set to watch after at the news station in this miniseries, and she kind of disappears once we get into the series that comes after this. But the Proteus thing is very fun. And this was a beautiful 6-issue miniseries. Look at just the art and that Ditko really put a ton into the design work of the pages and the layouts. Very, very trippy 70s stuff through here all the way around. And the Creeper eventually prevails through the 6-issue series. Now, oddly, it seems like there's just complete reset once it gets into Showcase. And interestingly, I should also point out at the end of the Creeper 6-issue series, Ditko is replaced for half of the 6th issue. I guess he had a problem in health with allegedly tuberculosis going on during the time, and he could not get things going to get things done. Now, finally, he fights a supervillain again in this next one. As you can see in this issue, they move the Creeper and they make it explicit that he's in Gotham City now. And you've got this character the Firefly, who goes after the Creeper in this first issue special, who I guess is an old Batman villain. I don't know anything about that for sure. He claims he is, at least in the story. And so interesting stuff as that goes on. Now, you can tell the inking differences in here. And then eventually, once we get into these short stories in World Finest, Ditko's back to inking himself. And the storytelling varies a little bit. I'd say that, like I said, the 6 issues was really good. The dialogue in the single issue first issue special was not quite as good. And once we get into Ditko himself, I'd say the dialogue seems a little less refined because he does these stories himself towards the end of this. And they're not serials. They're all kind of one-offs in here. This one, he fights this robot that goes and attacks the news station. In another one, he fights this weather wizard. And in this one, he's got Mr. Wrinkles, a very bizarre superhero or villain who this kid convinces everybody through psychic sort of stuff that they're old, but it wears off. So interesting stuff. The Weather Woman one is probably the best of these stories here, where the Weather Woman is being attacked because she took over the job of some guy who blames her for his failures. And then at the end of it, this is a Canceled Comics Cavalcade. This is a canceled full issue that was done. And of course, we got another one of those in the other Steve Ditko omnibus for Shade the Changing Man. And it's a fully inked, done issue. It just never got published. And so they They tacked these in the back, and I believe this was the first time it was ever published here. And here's your wizard guy I was talking about. Beautiful stuff, and this is a full-length issue compared to those 8-pagers that were being done prior to it, so it's really too bad this never got published at the end of the day. Now, in this one, we actually see the first sign of interest in anything. Look at this 2-page spread. We don't see a lot of that from Ditko. Usually he's not done work like 2-page spreads, so this is kind of cool to see him do. Now, the Creeper in this one actually is kind of like his powers are on the flux because of what the villain's doing, which we've never seen before. So he actually has to kind of hide his identity in silly ways in this one as this goes through as well. So fun stuff. This I rank an 8 out of 10 overall. Some of the dialogue's up and down depending on who the writer is on this. And like I said, that 6 issues of the actual main series there is just absolute gold as he faces off against that Proteus villain. Ditko's art is beautiful as ever, and look at the concepts that he did with the Creeper here. What a strange looking hero all the way around. And it just shows that he was not copying other people. He was really just innovating in everything he did, and that is what makes Ditko great. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.